anybody under the age of 38. And for those of us that like or love to lift heavy, for me, it's love. It's fun for me. It's a preference for me. And with this video, the reason why I'm making this is because when you have a focus and preference on lifting heavy, which is great, but when you do that, having a understanding, especially for you younger people, that if you can't do it today, it's okay. I didn't say that to rhyme, but it's true. The interesting thing about lifting heavy, I want to say, whether you're deadlifting or doing dumbbell chest presses, it shouldn't take much, regardless of what your current strength level is, ability is. It shouldn't take much to figure out whether or not you should or shouldn't try to lift a certain load that day. So that's great to have the mental and or emotional enthusiasm to lift a certain load, especially if you haven't done it before or even if you did. But sometimes you just can't, whether you got a sore elbow, sore knee, sore back, didn't get enough sleep, didn't eat enough before the workout, maybe a bit too stressed about certain things or whatever the case may be. So sorry about that, but yeah, just once you get ready to lift certain things, it should be fairly obvious. And again, this might be a bit too obvious for some people that watch this, but again, this for me being a trainer and actually caring about people being able to do it, especially to do it without getting hurt, seeing that my clients have not been hurt except for maybe two, but for only two people to get hurt after 21 years of helping people, just to make sure you have an idea and hopefully understanding that, you know, sometimes it just might not be a good day for you to do certain things. So I'm actually not only going to talk about it, I'm actually going to try to give you, well, I think I am going to give you an example, with high hopes it doesn't, that it doesn't actually happen to me. So specifically today. So I have, oh, there we go. I have 120 pounds on my dumbbells for the flat bench chest press that I prefer to do. The interesting thing is, like I said before, it's just that once you, the interesting, especially with dumbbells, it should be very obvious, fairly obvious, on whether or not you should not do it today. Either not do it, I'm not saying not work out today, I'm saying not necessarily lift whatever that load is that you were hoping to lift. So with dumbbells, barbell too, presses. Once you get ready to lift the barbell off the hook, if it just seems really heavy as soon as you touch it compared to other times, if you've done it before, and then if you haven't, especially if you don't have a spotter. I'm working out at home all the time, so I don't have a spotter. So the interesting thing is, once I get ready to lift one of the dumbbells, that should pretty much give you an idea on whether or not you should or shouldn't do that lift that day. Not only to lift the first one, obviously you got two. So not only to lift, and my buddy Daryl might laugh because I've actually told him this before. Others too, but specifically for him. I've had that conversation with him. Once you lift this one 120-pound dumbbell or whatever dumbbell you have today or whenever, and you lift it, it's like, all right, cool. But then you got the other one. Obviously, you're going to do both. So if you get ready to lift one and it feels good or bad, okay, then you get ready to lift the other one, good or bad, and it's just like, okay, how does it feel on your elbow? How does it feel on your wrist? Do you feel more nervous doing it today compared to today or tonight? Compared to other times to where it's just like, you know what, let me just not do it until I'm more emotionally capable, especially without a spotter, or more energetic toward it, more confident toward it, or whatever the case may be for each individual. I'm just crazy / motivated to do it, crazy enough and motivated enough to do it. Plus, with the weight that I have on the dumbbells today, I've done it many times over the last 9 years, I think. So I should be good, but at the same time, sometimes, again, whether you didn't get enough sleep or you're more sore than you thought or whatever the case may be. So sorry for talking as much, but again, with me, and you may have heard it in other videos before for those who have seen them, but I like to make sure there's an understanding whenever I tell people stuff. I don't really focus on comedy, so that way I can make sure people actually understood what I was saying, and nobody's like, hey, Martone said, if I said it, okay, but if I didn't, make up what I said. So again, it's just to make sure there's a understanding in terms of what, how, and why. So now, after telling you all that, with high hopes, I can actually go ahead and be able to show you with high hopes. This isn't one of the days that I can't lift as much as I want, but it's only 120 for me. So hopefully I'll be fairly pissed off if for some reason I can't do 120 compared to me trying to do 160. That's enough of a difference. All right. So again, once you lift the one off the floor, put it on your leg, you should get an idea on whether or not you should or shouldn't. Then you pick the other one up, and you should get an idea on whether you should or shouldn't, and then hopefully go from there. Just want to make sure there's less wiggle room in the dumbbell. Like I said, you pick up the one, pick up the other, and you should get a good idea on whether you should or shouldn't that day or that night, depending on your schedule. 3. Sweet. Alright, so currently I think I'm good to go. But sometimes, on many occasions, sometimes I still feel nervous, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I'm not scared, at least not today. So, at least not today. And another interesting thing about doing stuff like that is Just because you're able to do that first set doesn't mean you'll be able to do a second, third, fourth set. So that's another interesting thing to think about when you're when you're man, excuse me, when you're doing stuff like that or whatever it is you're doing as far as training, specifically trying to lift heavier loads. Uh, you know, depending on how much experience you have, it shouldn't be as much of a problem, if at all. But sometimes you just have some of those days where it's like, today's not my day, um, which is hard for younger people. I understand, but again, hopefully, for any young person that sees this, or anyone that sees it, but again, I know for young people, it's more challenging to understand, but and maybe even appreciate to where just because you might not be able to do it today, but when you go to do it next week or whenever you go to try it again, first of all, don't rush it. Second of all, it could be a good thing that you can't do it today, tonight, whatever your schedule is. To where even though you wanted to lift whatever your load is this time, maybe by taking another day off or just lifting lighter for now, and then all of a sudden come back whenever your next chest day is. For me, it's back and chest. And I do back first. Uh, to maybe you can't do it today or tonight, but not only not be able to do it today or tonight, but maybe the next time or the next time after that or whenever it is. Again, try not to rush it. Excuse me. Especially if you're younger. Is maybe the next time you take a certain number of days off from lifting a certain load, if not taking a certain number of days off entirely, depending on what you feel you need or what may have been suggested to you. And then whenever you come back to it, whether it's next week, next month, a couple of months, and all of a sudden you can do it again. That's another thing I'm hoping for people to hear, read, and hopefully eventually understand. Is trying not to rush this stuff, because I'm a 38-year-old vegan, and there's certain and some of you have seen it, whether some of you believe it or not, but there are certain things I've done on here that I posted on here. As far as chest press and whatever it was, likely chest press. And I did some of those things for the first time. I think I did 133 for the first time on here for incline chest press, 135 for the first time for an incline chest press. I did incline flies, I think, either incline or flat bench flies with 123 pounds for the first time. I think I did one, and I was 37, but now I'm 38. I think I did 128 pound dumbbell flies for the first time, and you guys saw it. You might not know that, but I believe I expressed it. 133, I don't know if I did 130, but I think I did 133, all for the first time at 37, and now I'm 38. So right before I turned 38, I did certain things for the first time, and I actually have it on here for you guys to see it if you choose to look down. I don't think it's that far down, but even if it is, and you don't mind looking, go for it. But again, the point is, one, give it time. Two, have more fun with this stuff, depending on what that is for you. Just, in terms of mentally, emotionally, and physically appreciating this stuff more. Um, Especially with the struggle, depending on how much you're struggling. Because it's like, man, when I finally get to whatever it is you're trying to get to, and try not to make big jumps. So if you didn't, I think a guy said something to me within the last week or so, actually last few days or so, that I think he said he did 125, and I think he was talking about dumbbells. So I think he might have pressed 125 per dumbbell, and I think he said he wants to do 135 by Friday. So yes, this was last week. Whether he did it or not, I have no idea. I don't know the person because this was somebody responding to one of my YouTube videos and saying that he was at 120, 125, and was expecting to get to 135 by Friday. I don't know how young that person is. I'm guessing it's a man too, so I don't know how young that man is, how old that man might be, or whatever the case may be. If he's working out at home, I don't know. So for him or anybody else, don't rush it, especially if you're trying to go up 10 pounds or whatever the increment is. And again, I know it's hard to, I've been there. That's the interesting thing about getting to a certain age, is just understanding that rushing it is not going to help you, and eventually it likely will hurt you. So thankfully I haven't gotten to that point. I did get hurt earlier this year, but that wasn't necessarily me trying to lift heavier than I wanted to. In fact, I somehow managed to put more weight on one dumbbell than the other somehow. I have no idea how the hell I did that, but I'm back to doing some of what I was already doing, but just trying to be more careful. I don't know if I was in a rush or whatever the heck I had going on. I probably was in a rush, So again, it wasn't being in a rush to do the exercise. It was just with the schedule that I had at the time and trying to get this stuff in and done. So for you, hopefully you don't rush it, depending on what you have going on. Especially if you're working out at home without a spotter, or even if you're at the gym without a spotter. So again, don't rush it, and just understand that you might not be able to, it's different for each person. So maybe and hopefully, depending on your experience and who you're learning from, maybe you will be stronger than I am when you're 38, compared to what I am. So great, if that's how it works. That's the good thing about progressing, and some people being better, faster, or whatever. But do what works for you. But I'm just hoping, especially for me being 38, and that's what a lot of us are hopefully likely to tell you, is don't rush it. Be smart, be safe, and have fun. This is Marton, trainer Fuller Fitness. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you give it a like. Share it with people that you think might be interested and appreciate it. Probably especially younger people who are either teens or in their early 20s, maybe mid 20s, to help them hear and understand. Hopefully, especially with the load I just pressed, which again wasn't to be impressive, but that's just what the load I wanted to do today. And for those who can't do that yet, especially to do it without, because I wasn't out of breath after I did it. So, one, having so many years of experience doing it, and two, this was a day that I was able to do it without any extra stress or anything like that. So, again, I apologize for talking so much, but again, it's just my desire to try to help you guys understand, especially seeing that I'm not with you in your living room, basement, or gym that you're working out in. So, again, hopefully you give the video a like, share it with people who you believe who either need this information or appreciate hearing it again, or people you think might listen to me compared to listening to you, because that's some reason that's how it works, to where people might not listen to their parents but listen to somebody else. Might not listen to their uncle but listen to somebody else. So if they want to listen to Uncle Martin, go for it. So again, hopefully you like it, share it, and subscribe, so that way you are become more aware of my next one without having to ask anybody else or searching all over the place. So this is Martin, owner and trainer, Fuller Fitness. Enjoy your workout.